Once you have located what needs to be backed up, it is a matter of copying and pasting them into a file management system, centralizing your files. So this section is going to talk about file management. So in the following example, I'm going to be showing you my file management system and the file management system that we kind of enforce in landscape architecture and regional community planning technical modules. And even though you may not be in the landscape architecture and regional community planning program, you're going to find that these concepts that I am about to show you are going to be the same across all disciplines, no matter what your major is. So what we're going to do is first examine why file management is such a critical thing to have. The first reason is to keep companion application files together. Software applications such as GIS and Adobe will create many companion files that work together. If you lose one file, move it, or accidentally overwrite or rename it, the file as a whole, or the function you are trying to do, will not work. The second reason is for group collaboration. As landscape architects and regional community planners, we will always collaborate with others such as civil engineers, biologists, geomorphologists, geographers, contractors such as irrigation specialists, framers, electricians, and the list of disciplines go to infinity. This means you will most likely have to share data files. If your collaborators can't find what they are looking for because you do not have a logical file management system in place, you could be responsible for delaying a project costing the client thousands of dollars. The firm you work for may end up eating the costs. Time is a critical factor in the professional world, as time equals money. And this is perhaps the most important equation one should learn. The third reason why we do file management is for backup purposes. Computers break down. I cannot quantify the number of bad things that can happen. These events are also not predictable. However, it would seem these things happen when you are the busiest and have several deadlines converging to one point in time. So what does this have to do with file management? If your computer crashes, could you pick up quickly where you left off? Could you tell another person confidently where your files are located? Could you take basically one of your external backup drives to the computer lab and finish up where you left off? A file management system should provide a means of producing a centralized location for all of your projects, coursework, and resources. This centralized location can then be backed up. Reason number 4, keep client or studio work projects assets separated and organized. Keeping track of a project's asset is also important. You don't want to mix up work you do for client A with work you do for client B. In the professional world, you could be working on a dozen or so projects simultaneously, and some of them could be very, very similar. When billing the client, you want to make sure you keep that client's assets separated from other client assets. Assets in this case would be models you develop, terrains, renders, materials, construction documents, etc. Remember, time equals money, so if you spent several hours modeling something, you want to be able to show the client you created a model specifically for their project site and not anyone else's. Keep client assets separated also helps prevent liability issues. The fifth reason why we do file management is for archiving purposes. When you are done with a project, you would want to archive it off of your hard drive, off of your working drive. This is an easy task, assuming you have a file management system in place to make this possible. Archiving can be done by copying and pasting to another drive for archiving, or burning files to a CD or DVD. Like backups, you should make too. Archiving is important because it frees up system resources so your computer doesn't have to work as hard. It is also helpful to have the data later when you decide to work on your portfolio. And number 6, time management. Being organized, backed up, and being reliable and dependable when needed saves you time and your company time. We mentioned earlier the equation time equals money, and again we see it here. Everything I have mentioned prior to this is going to save you a tremendous amount of time. If you don't believe me, don't do the file management and study the results. Having it together also communicates professionalism, making those around you see you as an asset to any project. Let us admit, we live in economically difficult times. If a firm has to lay people off, they are likely going to lay off liabilities like the person in the cubicle whose space looks like a cyclone hit it, and his virtual organization is even worse.